Hello and welcome to Share a Story. My name's Kane and I'm going to be reading you the story of the Gingerbread Man. Once upon a time, there lived an old man and an old woman who cared for a little boy. One morning, they decided to make some gingerbread in the shape of a man. They added icing for his hair and clothes and little blobs of dough for his nose and eyes. When they put him in the oven to bake, they said to the little boy, "Now, you watch the oven while we go and work in the garden." And so the old man and the old woman went into the garden to tend to the vegetable patch and left the boy to watch the oven. But he began to daydream, and he didn't watch the oven at all. Until, all of a sudden, he heard a loud noise. He snapped out of his daydream and looked up as the oven door popped open. Out jumped a gingerbread man, who went rolling across the floor towards the open door of the house. The little boy ran to shut the door, but the gingerbread man was too quick for him and rolled out the door, down the steps and into the road before the little boy could catch him. He cried out to his grandparents, who heard the noise, threw down their gardening tools and gave chase too. They ran and ran, but the gingerbread man was far too quick and was soon out of sight. All out of breath, they decided to stop running, sit down on a bank and rest. But on went the gingerbread man, running, and by and by he came to two people digging a well, who looked up from their work and said, "Where are ye going, gingerbread man?" He said, "I've outrun an old man, an old woman and a little boy, and I can outrun you too." "Oh, you can you? Well, we'll see about that." So they threw down their work tools and ran after him. But they couldn't catch up. He was just too fast. So they sat at the roadside and had a rest. On went the gingerbread man, running, and by he came to two people selling flowers. "Where are you going, gingerbread man?" said they. "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, and two well diggers, and I can outrun you too." "Oh, you can you? We'll see about that." And they threw down their roses and bouquets of flowers and ran after him as fast as they could. But the gingerbread man was soon out of sight. He was just far too quick. So they gave up the chase and sat down for a rest. On went the gingerbread man. No sign of stopping, and by he came across a bear. "Where are you going, gingerbread man?" said the bear, and the gingerbread man replied, "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, and two florists, and I can outrun you too." "You can you?" growled the bear. "We'll see about that." And he powered forward as fast as his legs could take him, chasing the gingerbread man, who never looked back. Before long, the bear was left so far behind that he could see he might as well stop. He took a big stretch and curled up under a tree to sleep. On went the gingerbread man, no end in sight, and by he came across a wolf. "My, how fast you are," said the wolf. "Where are you going, gingerbread man?" "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, two well diggers, two florists, and a bear, and I can outrun you too." "Oh, you can you?" snarled the wolf. "We'll see about that." So he set into a gallop and chased him for miles. But the gingerbread man showed no signs of slowing, and so too the wolf could see he had no chance of catching him. And so he stopped for a rest at a nice roadside cottage. On went the Gingerbread Man, and by he came to a fox that lay quietly in a corner of a fence. The fox called out in a sharp voice, but without getting up. "Where are you going, Gingerbread Man?" He said, "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, 2 well diggers, 2 florists, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too." The fox said, "I can't quite hear you, Gingerbread Man. Won't you come a little closer?" turning his head a little to one side. The Gingerbread Man stopped his race for the first time and went a little closer and called out in a very loud voice, "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, 2 well diggers, 2 florists, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too." "I still can't quite hear you. Won't you come a little closer?" said the fox in a feeble voice, as he stretched out his neck towards the Gingerbread Man and put one paw behind his ear. The Gingerbread Man came up closer and, leaning towards the fox, screamed out, "I've outrun an old man, an old woman, a little boy, 2 well diggers, 2 florists, a bear, and a wolf, and I can outrun you too." "You can you?" yelped the fox, and with one swoosh of his tail knocked the Gingerbread Man to the floor and ran off, leaving nothing but a cloud of dust behind. "I've been tricked," cried the Gingerbread Man. "I'll never outrun him now." Well, I hope you've enjoyed Share a Story from Roundabout Dramatherapy. If you would like to make a donation to support the work of Roundabout, then we would be very grateful for your support. A small gift will make a big difference to the children and adults that they support. Thank you.